Welcome to the review for this year's final. I suggest you go through this very carefully, correct all your mistakes, and you're probably going to want to go through these problems multiple times. This is going to be very similar to what you see on your actual final. The first one is evaluate. That just means tell me what it equals. They tell you what A, B, and C equals. You plug them in. 4C is 4 times C, which is going to be 32. AB is A times B, which is 6. And 2 times B is 4. You're going to get 38 minus 4. Your final answer is 34. On number 2, you're going to simplify it. That means that you want to get down to the simplest expression there is. To give you a hint right here, we're going to start with our distributive property. You multiply what's on the outside with what's on the inside, and that's going to give you 9x plus 9y minus 8x. And be careful on this. Think of that as a negative 4. That would be minus 8y. That gives you x plus y when you combine your like terms. Number 3, they're telling you x and y, you're going to plug those in. So you're going to have 4 times negative 2. And that whole thing is going to be squared. And then you're going to be minusing 3 times y minus 3 times negative 2. And that whole thing is cubed. Okay, we need to figure out what's inside those parentheses. So that's going to be negative 8 squared. That's going to be 12. And you want to be careful of your sign there. Negative 3 times negative 2 is going to give you a positive 6. And then you're going to cube that. You probably are going to need a calculator on this one. Negative 8 squared, be careful of your signs, is 64. That's 18 cubed. And that's going to be 18 times 18 times 18. And when you do that, you get 5,832. Subtract that from 64. And you get negative 5768. All right, number 4, we simplify it. That means we want to get it down to no parentheses or no like terms. I'm going to start by distributing. And that's going to give me positive 4. And 1/2 times 5 is 5 over 2. And it's negative, so 5 over 2. P. 1/2 times negative 18 is negative 9. And then 1/2 times negative 3p is negative 3 over 2p. Combine your like terms. 4 minus 9 is negative 5. Negative 5 halves minus 3 halves is negative 8 halves. Well, that can be simplified down a little bit more to negative 5 minus 4p. Number 5, we want to solve. Well, first thing I need to do is distribute. And I get negative 9 equals negative 36n plus 27. I need to now subtract 27 from both sides. Get my numbers on one side, my variables on the other. And I get negative 36 equals negative 36n. Divide both sides by negative 36. N equals 1. All right, number 6. That one's kind of a pain because you see those fractions. Well, there's a couple different ways that we can deal with this, but I don't want to deal with fractions. I look at my denominator and it's 5. I'm going to multiply each term by 5. What happens are those 5's cancel. And I'm left with just 2x minus 10 equals 3x. And 14 times 5 is 70. And then subtract 2x. Those cancel. I get negative 10 equals x plus 70. Subtract 70. Negative 80 equals x. On a multiple choice test, if you ever get to the point where you're not sure what to do, you can always take your answers, plug them in, and see which one works. So on this one, I need to solve for p. Now that's not a p right there, that's an n. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get rid of everything around the p. So start by adding 9. And I can combine like terms, so I'm going to line them up. And I get 5n plus 2 equals 3p. That 3 is bothering the p, so I'm just going to divide by 3. And I get 5n plus 2 over 3 equals p. All right, on this one, I'm just going to cross multiply, and I'm going to get 6 parentheses x minus 3. 2 times 5 is 10. X plus 1. So all I did there was I cross multiplied. Now I still have to distribute. I'm going to get 6x minus 18 equals 10x plus 10. Subtract 6x. I get negative 18 equals 4x plus 10 minus 10. Negative 28 equals 4x. Be very careful of your signs. It's easy to make a mistake with them. Divide by 4. Negative 7 equals x. There's my final answer. Number 9, that's a proportion. As soon as I see a proportion, I think cross multiply. So that's going to be 5 times m minus 2 equals 7. 2 plus m. 5m minus 10 equals 14 plus 7m. Subtract our 5m's from both sides of the equal sign. That's going to give me negative 10 equals 14 plus 2m minus 14 from both sides. Negative 24 equals 2m. Divide by 2. and you get negative 12 equals m. There's my final answer. On number 10, this one looks like it's going to be hard, but it's pretty easy. They're giving you the length and the width, and then they tell you the area. So we know length times width equals area, so length times width equals my area, which is 192. Go ahead, distribute 8y plus 8 equals 192 minus 8 from both sides. You get 8y equals 184. Divide by 8. Y equals 23. Guess I should put inches. Number 11. Well, on this one, I'm just going to go ahead and add 5/7 to both sides. Well, off to the side, I need to figure out how to add 1/5 plus 5/7. I need a common denominator. I'm thinking 35, so I'm going to multiply that by 7 over 7. And this one by 5 over 5. That's going to give me negative 7 over 35 plus 25 over 35. And that'll give me 18 over 35. So 18 over 35 equals x. All right, add 14. Bar equals negative 20. Cross multiply. 7x equals 350. Divide by 7. X equals 50. Minus 5. Negative 12 equals negative b over 5. To get rid of a denominator, you multiply both sides by that. And I want to get rid of that negative, so I'm going to multiply by negative 5. I'm going to get 60 equals b. So those 5's cancel, the negatives cancel. To get rid of a fraction in front of the variable, multiply by the reciprocal, 12 over 5. Fives cancel, 12's cancel, those 5's cancel. That can be reduced by 4. Divide that by 4 and you get 2. Here you're going to get 3. So x is 3 over 2. Number 16, minus 11. 3x equals 33. Divide by 3. X is 11. Okay, if you notice, there's a lot of solving equations. That's kind of a hint that there's probably going to be a lot of these on here. Add 4n. You get 16n plus 4 equals negative 28 minus 4. 16n equals negative 32. Divide by 16. Negative 32 divided by 16 is negative 2. I'm going to need to distribute. And you get negative 6 equals 60 plus 36 minus 36. Be careful of your signs here. That's going to give you negative 42. Divide by 6. Negative 7 equals D. On 19, a number is multiplied by 7. We don't know that number. I'm going to call it X. So a number is multiplied by 7. That's where the 7x comes from. And that's a product. That product is added to 14. And the result, that's an equal sign, is 77. So subtract 14. You get 7x equals 63. Divide by 7. X is 9. All right, Pedro can make $65 in 5 days. I'm going to set up a ratio, put money on top and days in the bottom. Could go the other way as long as you're consistent on your other ratio. At that rate, how many days? Since I have days in the bottom, I have to keep it in the bottom. Won't take to make $910. That's just going to be cross multiplying. 65D equals 4550. Divide both sides by 65. And I'm going to need a calculator for this one. 4550 divided by 65 gives me 70, and that seems like a reasonable answer. So it's 70 days. All right, that is part 1.